everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Active Action Podcast. It's me, your host, Dr. Nazif, back again with another amazing guest. And if you are a podcast fan, I'm sure you have heard of our esteemed guest today, Alan Lazaros. So Alan is the founder and CEO of Next Level University podcast, which is a top 100 podcast and a seven-figure business focused on helping others reach their full potential in various sectors like health, wealth, and love. Alan, thank you so much for joining this podcast. And today we will be discussing with you from your experience how to become the most productive and effective version of yourself. So, how
Yes.
are you doing, Alan, this morning?
Good. Thank you for having me. And how to become the most productive and effective version of yourself. I want to start with gratitude to anyone who's listening or watching. I believe the 21st century is extremely noisy. I think that there is a lot of nonsense. I joke with my business partner. I say we are selling kale outside of a candy store because personal development may not be sexy, but it's definitely valuable. And so thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Alan. Again, can you let our listeners know about Next Level University and the meaningful work that you're doing? And what are you kind of providing your audiences with your platform?
So it all started 11 years ago. I got in a car accident when I was 26 and I was in corporate at that time. I did the traditional path. I did the kindergarten, preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, corporate. I did the traditional American dream, quote unquote, born and raised in Massachusetts. Did it very well. Computer engineering degree, master's in business, corporate, became a global 1% earner in my early 20s and made almost $200,000 a year. And I got in a car accident when I was 26. My birth father died in a car when he was 28, when I was 2.
So sorry.
So
to
for
hear
me,
that.
this is sort of the second chance he never got.
Right.
And so
yeah.
I decided that day that I would reach my full potential. And that was when I found sort of self-improvement, personal growth, and personal development. And I started a company called Alan Lazaros LLC, what you'll never learn in school, but desperately need to know, because I was a straight A student in high school and I did very well in college. And I went to some of the best colleges in the world, one of the best engineering schools in the world. And I didn't learn about productivity, and I didn't learn about habits, and I didn't learn about goal setting, and I didn't learn about fitness and finance. I learned a little bit about finance, but these fundamental things that are critical, we don't learn about in school, and it pissed me off. So I decided to try to be the change I wish to see in the world. And so I started a company called Alan Lazaros LLC, what you'll never learn in school, but desperately need to know, inspire, motivate, and educate people. And that was 11 years ago. And now that's still the same theme and through line and promise that we make to our listeners today. We have 2,300 episodes. We have a 23-person team. I have 26 individuals I coach in business. And then we have 126 paying clients. We produce 86 podcasts now.
That's
so
wonderful.
we got it going on
The
now.
big team.
Grateful. I'm very grateful. But it's still that same focus, that same mission, that same goal that I never untether from, which is, to anyone out there watching or listening, I want to be someone who shares things that we should have been learning in school.
That's a very valid point you bring on, Alan, that some of the basic traits that we need to know as individuals to thrive in life and also in our work, even if it's like workspace, even if it's or within our family life and whatnot, these basic things are often not taught, but are very crucial to know if you do want to thrive. So from your experience, why do you take a holistic approach to self-improvement through the different sectors like health and wealth? And there are many other sectors that you also provide advice on coaching one. Why didn't you focus only in one niche, but in multiple niches as well?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, I wanted to lead by example. And I tell my clients this too. I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I'm not doing. There might be nuances that are different, but for the most part, I'm not asking anyone to, I call it the tip of the arrow. I'm not going to stand back while you charge into battle. I'm going to be at the tip and I'm going to lead the charge. So the reason I do holistic health, wealth, and love is because I didn't want to be healthy and wealthy, but not in love. I didn't want to be healthy and in love, but not wealthy. And I didn't want to be wealthy and in love, but not healthy. And to me, that's the trifecta of success. The trifecta of success is health, wealth, and love. Health is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Wealth is how you earn your money. Is it meaningful work for you? How much do you earn? Is it increasing or decreasing based on where the future is headed? And then where do you invest it? And I say invest, not spend, invest. And then love is your intimate relationship, your immediate family, your extended family, your friends, colleagues, clients, mentors, mentees, the whole nine team. And so if someone's very healthy and they're wealthy and they're in love and they have a lot of love in their life, they are successful. They are very successful. Now, here's the problem. That's 3 full-time jobs right there. And statistically speaking, if you really want to talk statistics, because I love statistics, is if you're top 1% in health, top 1% in love, and top 1% in wealth, you're actually 1 in a million mathematically. It's 1 over 100 times 1 over 100 times 1 over 100, which means you're 1 in a million. And I say I want to be 1 in a million. I do. And I will dedicate my existence to that. And that's also what I help my clients with is I'm not going to just help you get wealthy. I'm going to help you get fit, healthy, wealthy, and in love. Yeah, to me, it makes no sense to go for just one of them. It doesn't. It makes no sense.
So do you also think, and I really like the point that you bring in the triangle of health, wealth, and love, and one actually cannot succeed if the other one is being undermined. Sometimes people go through a difficult time in their life, in a difficult phase. They might have good amount of money. They might have even a good health, but if they don't have that mental well-being, that can also impact their overall pace of succeed. So why do you think, from your experience, people struggle to get like a peaceful mindset, even if they have good money, even they have a good health? What do you think, from your experiences with your clients, actually impacts their mental health and how they can like keep it well?
Yeah, I think that question comes down to, well, there's a couple factors. Okay, so big fan of neuroscience. I study it often. And if you don't take good care of your brain, you're going to have mental health issues. So the first thing is foundational. Do you get good sleep? Do you stay hydrated, drinking enough water? Do you get enough deep and REM sleep? Do you, and so sound mind and body has to be the foundation. And also nutrition. So do you eat whole foods? Do you get your micronutrients in? Do you even know what a micronutrient is? Do you macronutrients? So as an engineer, I break everything into its smallest components. Okay. So everyone's brain, I always used to say this. I wrote a book, an article way back in my LinkedIn called Six Pack of the Mind. I've since taken it down. I shouldn't have, honestly. I should have kept it up. But we can see each other's bodies, but I wonder if we could see each other's brains. So I said six pack of the mind. I wish we could see the condition of people's brains. And we all know what it's like, right? We've all experienced. My grandma died at 94 and she had Alzheimer's and she didn't even remember who I was. And we know, and I knew, I was in my late 20s when she died. I'm 37 now. And when the last time I saw her, she thought I was my mom's husband. She didn't know that I was, you picked a good one. She thought I was my mom's husband, which is funny and playful, but also very sad. The truth is, the hard truth, as much as I loved my grandma, is she didn't take good care of her brain. She took good care of her body. She swam every day, but she didn't get good sleep. So one of the things that's really important for mental health is actually the physical brain.
Okay.
There's a lot of, you can research this. There's a lot of sleep studies. There's a lot of TED Talks about this. There's also CTE. If you smoke a ton of cigarettes, if you drink a lot of alcohol, if you do a lot of drugs, it all affects your brain. And good mental health starts with good brain health. Now, if you have a healthy brain, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to automatically have good mental health. So then after that, it becomes mindfulness, intentionality. You can do meditation, breath work. I think physical fitness is critical. And at the end of the day, we're all playing the game of neurochemistry, meaning, do you have your life set up in a way where you are consistently getting into flow, where you're engaging with other people and engaging with your work? Are you doing meaningful work in the world? The things we want in life are a byproduct. It's like laughter. If I want to create laughter, I have to make a joke and laughter will be a byproduct. Health, wealth, and love are byproducts.
Indeed,
They're
they are.
byproducts of things that you do. So I always say, I speak all over the world virtually, and I always say, who here wants to be healthier, wealthier, and more in love? Hands go up. Okay, who here wants to master fitness every day? Who here wants to master humility, courage, and vulnerability in your intimate relationship every day? And who here wants to master finance? And some of the hands go down. So you can't, listen, great health is a byproduct of fitness mastery. Great wealth is a byproduct of financial mastery. Great relationships, intimate relationships. I coach couples. I've been coaching couples for 5 years with my beautiful girlfriend and future wife, Emilia. We have a podcast called the Conscious Couples Podcast. A great intimate relationship, love, is a byproduct of emotional mastery. And mastery, I always say, results you see on the outside are actually a byproduct of something far deeper or far greater.
That's
and
true.
It's usually the unsung hero stuff. Like, you can't see my mindset. You can't see my drive. You can't see my ability to focus. You can't see my brain. But you can tell it's there. And if you saw me before my car accident, when I wasn't taking care of myself, when I was drinking too much and too often, when I had high school friends and college friends and corporate friends, and I had a thriving social life, but I was everything for everyone and nothing for myself, you would see someone with a worse brain, with a worse body, and with worse focus, and someone who was unfulfilled and unhappy, and who didn't have strong mental health. So it all starts with these simple fundamentals that are unsexy, but they're critical.
That's so true. And when you mention they're being not fulfilled and they're not happy, so what do you think is the core differences between fulfilling something and between happiness?
So happiness, I think, is a thing to shoot for, and I'll explain why. The story I always tell with this is there's that famous story where John Lennon was in school and the teacher said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And he said, "Happy." And the teacher said, "You don't understand the assignment." And John Lennon apparently said, "You don't understand life." I tell that story because while John Lennon has a point with that, and I'm not sure if that story is true or not, everyone thinks they want to be happy. That's what everyone thinks. Like, that's what you want for your kids. I want to be happy. I want my kids to be happy. I want to live a happy life. Happily ever after is what movies are built on. But the problem is we're aiming at the wrong target because happiness is a byproduct. Happiness is, okay, it's a pursuit of happiness. Do you ever really catch it? Are you happy now? It's so esoteric. It's like qualitative. There's no measurement. Am I happy? Yes. Okay, how happy? 0 to 10. 7? Okay, what would be a 10 in this case? Okay, the happiest you've ever been is a 10. Okay, well then I'm a 10. Okay, now what? So it's just esoteric. It's not landed. Fulfillment, I think, is a more meaningful long-term version of happiness. So I broke happiness. I have something called the happiness formula. I'm an engineer, so I break everything down. So 3 things, what we call happy, I broke down into these 3 things. Joy. Joy is when you're in the process of doing something you enjoy. All right, so if I love basketball and I'm playing basketball, I'm in joy. Now here's the cool thing about joy. You can be in joy even when it sucks. I can enjoy playing basketball even though it's hard. Okay?
That's true.
Now, the second one is pleasure. Pleasure is, if I eat this donut, then I will be pleasured. If I scroll on Instagram, then I will get dopamine. Pleasure is the trap. Pleasure is short-term and fleeting, and it's what we think is happiness. It's when we eat a pizza. You get lots of pleasure, but there's no fulfillment there.
That's true.
The third one is fulfillment. So there's joy, pleasure, and fulfillment. And if you have all 3 of those, that equals happiness. Joy, pleasure, fulfillment. Fulfillment only comes when you grow and contribute toward meaningful goals for a meaningful purpose. Fulfillment is the one I optimize for. So I focus on fulfillment, growth and contribution and quality of life. And I focus on that, and I trust that pleasure and joy will be a byproduct. Whereas most people are chasing pleasure.
Yes,
we've all
indeed.
been there. I did that in college for sure. Pleasure, 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 pleasure. Drinking, eating out, dancing with that girl. Blah, blah, blah.
Short-term
Pleasure,
dopamine, right?
But
yeah.
when your head hits the pillow at night, you're miserable. Alcohol, drugs. I've been there. Listen, I've been there. pleasure is a trap. It's
That's
not
so true.
fulfilling. You will feel empty at the end, even though you had a blast. Okay. And I had a blast. But that's, I think, what we miss is we're aiming at the wrong target. If you aim at the wrong target, your whole life's going to be wrong.
Thank you so much for sharing that wonderful words of wisdom, Alan. And I'm sure our listeners will get to think, what am I doing right now? Why am I getting, I'm doing this particular work because I'm getting a short-term pleasure for it, but how much time are you contributing to it, and what does it get to you? Even I really like when you say that when you hit the pillow at the night, you often think, so the time that I've spent today, the things that I've enjoyed, what is that enjoyment bringing to me ultimately? How is that contributing to my well-being? And that is what kind of fulfillment you're mentioning, and you're focusing on that core feature, right? Or core intuitive.
The irony here is that the people that look back on some of the hardest times in their lives, that is usually what brings meaning and fulfillment.
Yeah, that's true.
And fulfillment is when you're 90 years old and you're in your rocking chair looking back on your life, you're either going to be fulfilled or not. You're either going to be proud of who you became and what you did in this world, or you're not. And if you're focused on pleasure, you're going to have regret at the end. If you focus on meaning and fulfillment, you're going to have fulfillment at the end.
Indeed, so true.
Of course.
In life, we often try to maintain a balance. We try to maintain like an optimum of everything, everything in our, maybe it's our eating habit, maybe it's our daily work, spending time with family. We try to optimize everything in our life to make things like better for us, or to make things time bound. What do you think optimization is, and why is it important in the sense for personal development?
Optimization is a fancy word for finding the right fit at the right time in the right amount for the right reason with the right intention. So it's based on a mathematical fundamental concept of what's called an optimal stopping problem. So even right now, in real time, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this in the right amount of words. So the metaphor I always use for this is you put the nachos in for 3.5 minutes and they burn. You put them in for a minute and they taste like rubber because the cheese isn't melted. So the optimal is 2.5 minutes or whatever. So everything has an optimal stopping problem. And this is the problem with life too.
That's so true.
When you have a goal, and by the way, optimal is predicated on a goal. Let me give you an example. We do a 10-pound and 10-week challenges every year. We have 55 people. We do the next level 10-pound and 10-week challenge is what we call it. We have 55 people, 28 people doing the challenge, 55 people in a fitness group. People are in there every day. Some people are trying to gain weight to build muscle. Some people are trying to lose weight to burn fat. If your goal is to gain weight, eating more is more optimal. If your goal is to lose weight, eating more is immediately not optimal.
It's true.
Everything has to be reverse engineered. That's what optimization means. What are you optimizing for? Are you optimizing for quality time with family, or are you optimizing for productivity, or are you optimizing for your goals and dreams? One of the reasons why I think a lot of people don't achieve their goals and dreams is because the moment you set a big goal, you have to orient your existence underneath it. You have to become subservient to the goal. And a lot of the stuff that you have to do to achieve your goals is not fun. So people are like, I don't want to. Well, I want a six-pack, but I also want to drink, and I also want to be at the beach, and I also don't want to work out, and well, then forget it.
Yes.
So optimization means you set a goal in the future that's an output, not an input. An input is exercise, an output is weighing a certain amount. So you set a goal based on an output, a byproduct. I want 10 pounds in 10 weeks. Okay, awesome. Now you have to do things and not do things to optimize underneath that goal. I always say, be subservient to the goal. Don't be subservient to people. It's called self-imposed servitude to thankless people. Don't do that. But you have to be subservient to the goal. If you want to run a marathon, you better train. I tried doing one on 3 days' notice. It was tough.
That's so true.
That's my point, is optimization is a concept where you reorchestrate your time, effort, and money underneath a specific goal that's measurable in the future.
How do you personally optimize to set up for success?
Yeah, so it starts with where you put your time. So it starts with time, effort, and money. So let me break down the whole game. So everything in life can be broken down into its smallest components. So this is the atom, the molecule, the compound, that kind of thing. So let's just break it down. So first thing is game theory. Game theory says there's infinite games and there's finite games. Finite games have clear written rules and a start and an end time. Infinite games go on forever, and the only point of the game is to keep playing the game at a greater level. Life is an infinite game. You keep trying to play at a higher and higher level. It's a mountain that you climb that gets higher as you climb it. Okay, but what are the finite games you have to play within the infinite game? So a finite game is one chess match. An infinite game is becoming the best chess master you can be. Awesome. All right, so now we break it down. What are the resources we all have? Time, effort, and money. No matter where you're from, no matter where you are in the world, I coach people, all different industries, all different backgrounds, all different cultures, all different sexes, all over the world, men, women, the whole nine. 6,835 one-on-one coaching sessions from people all over the world. I've been doing it for 11 years. All of them have these fundamentals. They have time, effort, and money. But where they put their time, effort, and money is completely predicated on the goals and core values that they have. So they have different goals and different core values and different circumstances. So you put time, effort, and money. You invest your time, effort, and money into persons, places, things, and ideas. You have what you do and don't do, which is what you say, think, do, feel, and believe. That's all within your control. So here's what I've got it boiled down to. What you measure, you focus on. What you say, think, do, feel, and believe. What you say, think, do, feel, and believe determines what you invest your time, effort, and money into, persons, places, things, and ideas, and that determines your results. Now, that's a lot for someone who's never heard this before. But to make it simple, right? So to make it simple, there are persons, places, things, and ideas that you need to get rid of. And there are persons, places, things, and ideas that you need to double and triple and quadruple down on. So I have these 4 rules of success, okay? The first one is stop the wrong trains. A train is a good metaphor for momentum because it takes a lot of effort to get it going, but once it's going, it's got momentum, it'll blow through a brick wall. Okay? So the first rule of success is stop the wrong trains. Here's an example. I quit drinking. I stopped one of the wrong trains. I set a goal to be a fitness coach, fitness competitor, fitness model, and I quit drinking in order to achieve those goals. Okay, so I stopped the wrong trains. I stopped drinking. Boom. Persons, places, things, and ideas. I surrounded myself before that with partying and alcohol. I got rid of all of those persons, places, things, and ideas. Boom. Stop the wrong trains. Okay, that train stopped. Rule number 2, start the right trains, the podcast. We started the podcast in March of 2017. We're coming up on 9 years in March. That was the right train, the optimal train, and we never stopped. We have 2,300 episodes, Next Level University podcast, success and personal development in your pocket from anywhere on the planet, completely free. That is Next Level University. Mentors and coaches in your pocket. Being the male role models we never had growing up. We both grew up without fathers, Kevin and I. All right, so that's stop the wrong trains, start the right trains. The third rule of success is improve the right trains. We didn't just podcast once, we improved it. We improved it as much as we could along the way. And we actually have a group coaching program called the Next Level Podcast Accelerator. And in the Canva presentation, it shows 100 episodes, 300 episodes, 600 episodes. It shows a picture, a screenshot, and it's crazy. It's crazy how much better it's gotten. Even though it never feels good enough, it got so much better. So in the moment, you still try to improve it so it doesn't feel good enough, quote unquote. But then looking back, it's, whoa, it's the iPhone. This iPhone 16 Pro Max that I have, the very first iPhone in 2007 was a revolutionary breakthrough. Now it would be hot garbage. Now it would be terrible.
No,
but compared to the iPhone 18 or 17 or whatever one they're on, it would be awful.
Yes.
The same is true for us. I'm Alan version 3.7. That's a good metaphor. Okay. So stop the wrong trains, start the right trains, improve the right trains. The fourth one is never, ever, ever lose momentum. Consistency compounds. 0.1% improvement per day leads to about 9% per quarter, leads to about 41% year over year, which means you double your results every 2 years. Consistency compounds. I call it no deviation from the mean. Stay the course. Be the unrelenting tortoise that just keeps going every single day. A little bit each day. Sustainability is everything. I would rather you work out a half an hour a day for 18 days straight than 9 hours on one day.
That's true. That's so true. Thanks so much, Alan. I got to learn like so much from you, on how we can, optimize our thinking and how we can set ourselves for sex. What is the process we have to go through and how we have to train our mindset to do that. It's often people think it's hard, but it doesn't need to be hard if you have the right mindset and if you have the right ideas intertwining with each other. So and everything what we're discussing today is all revolving self-improvement. Why do you think self-improvement is important to have success in life?
I think that Jim Rohn has a great quote about this. He was a personal development speaker. He says, trying to have an above average income and an above average life while trying to stay an average person is very frustrating. If you want to have an above average life, you have to become an above average person. So and this is a simple idea, but it's really powerful. Imagine if you could change your mom or your aunt or your uncle or where you were born or whatever. Your life wouldn't change that much. But when you change yourself, when you improve yourself, you take you with you everywhere you go. Every room you enter, you change the room. The more I grow, the different everything becomes. And so the idea here is start with improving yourself and grow yourself, and then everything else in your life will grow with you. Versus, and this is the best metaphor, we've heard this before, but it's so important. If someone wins $1 million in the lottery, but never learned or developed the skills to earn the $1 million, they're going to lose it. A lot of lottery winners lose all the money unless they hire a financial investor right away, because you basically didn't develop the character and the skills and the mindset and the belief systems and the philosophies in order to create the $1 million. And so just because you can scratch a ticket doesn't mean you deserve $1 million. That's why a lot of times lottery winners end up broke, and they end up even worse than before, because now they climbed that mountain and then went all the way back to the bottom, which emotionally can be even harder. So listen, you can lie, steal, cheat, all that stuff to your way to success if you want to. I'm not interested in any of that. Real success with real people in the real world comes from inside out. It comes from the inside out. Self-improvement is so important. Trying to have an extraordinary life without becoming an extraordinary person is unintelligent and undoable. And unfortunately, I've met a lot of people who are dinguses who have created a lot of wealth or financial success, but deep down they're not fulfilled because they didn't become an extraordinary person. And a lot of them didn't do very savory things to get there.
Thanks so much, Alan. That's really, really valuable to know. And I know like we might be running out of time, but I just want to ask you one last question, because I myself am very curious to know this from you, that you have so many ventures. You have the Next Level University podcast, you coach clients, and you have the support groups, so many things that you're doing all together. And that relates to people in life who are doing many things together, their work, their personal life, providing support to the family, meeting with friends. So I think it will be helpful for them to relate. But with all that you do, how do you stay in alignment with not being overwhelmed?
Yeah, I think in some way, so I'll give two answers. Duality is holding two seemingly opposing ideas in your consciousness simultaneously, which is very critical. If you can't do that, that's going to be a hard life for you. It's the yin and the yang. But I think in some ways, I'm always a little overwhelmed. I have a coaching session with a man named Andrew in 12 minutes and 18 seconds. So I'm in the pressure cooker at all times. The difference is, life doesn't get easier, you handle hard better. Success doesn't make life easier. Here's a good metaphor. You play basketball. I used to play basketball in middle school, and you can be pretty good with minimal talent because you're playing against little kids. And then you play in high school, and there's JV, and then there's varsity. And then you play in college, and there's D3, and then D2, and then D1. Now you're playing against the best people in the world. Now you're in the NBA. Now you got to play against Michael Jordan. The metaphor here is life does not get easier when you succeed. Success makes life harder, not easier. You just handle hard better. So the answer is, I am always overwhelmed, but I handle it better than I used to. And I make sure that my plate is always a little bit more full. We call this capacity. So in order to reach your full potential, You have to max out where you are and then grow, and then max out and then grow, and then max out and then grow, and then max out and then grow. But if you max out, you basically crumble. So you need some time to stretch the balloon without it popping. And so for me, I basically set goals where the skills and capacity necessary in order to achieve them is a little beyond my current capabilities. Because the way that I see it is when you're at level 1, you shoot for level 2, and then you learn how to get to level 2 capabilities. Then when you get to level 2, you enjoy it for a minute, and then you shoot for level 3. And then you learn how to have level 3 capabilities. And so awareness and capabilities and capacity, I'm always trying to grow those in advance of the level up.
I
and
see.
so
Okay.
I'm taking a course right now on enterprise building that some of that I won't need for a decade. Some of it I'll use now, but I'm always preparing in advance for the next battle or the next level or the next metaphor, whatever you want to say.
Right.
And so I don't want to reactively grow. Sometimes you have to because things get thrown at you. But there's two types of adversity in life. There's the ones that life throws at you randomly that you can't do anything about. My dad dying or my stepdad leaving. And then there's adversity that comes as an inevitable byproduct of meaningful goals. And so to me, if you aren't setting goals that challenge you, life is going to throw something at you and you're going to crumble. You have to be preparing. Life is hard. Life is so challenging. It's unfathomably challenging. And people don't talk about it enough, especially in the 21st century. The last thing I'll share here is I'm always preparing in advance for the next atrocity that life is going to throw my way.
Future reading yourself.
I want to become the man who doesn't crumble when hard things happen because their life is coming for us all. And we are either going to grow and rise to the occasion or we are going to fold like origami.
Thanks so much, Alan. I really appreciate your time and those wonderful, wonderful words of wisdom. Dear listeners, I'm sure you have enjoyed the episode and learned a lot of new things. But this is not the end because I do encourage you to go to the website of Next Level University. That will be in the description of our podcast, in the description of our YouTube video. Also, if you go into the activationlab.com website, just type Alan Lazaros' name, ALAN space LAZAROS, and you'll see his webpage over there where you have all the links to contact with Alan and see his wonderful services.
Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for spreading this into the world because I think the world needs more personal development. And I think that just how COVID spread from person to person, what if personal development could spread from person to person? What if self-belief and self-worth and conscientiousness and consciousness and capabilities and skills, what if we could spread goals and dreams? That's very aspirational. I appreciate what you do. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And for anyone who wants to reach out, if you find me on Instagram and DM me, it will be me. It won't be AI. It won't be a bot. It won't be my executive admin. It will actually be me. So just DM me on Instagram or you can email me. nextleveluniverse.com is the website. Not Next Level University, nextleveluniverse.com. Next Level University is the podcast.
Okay, wonderful. I'll put all those links in the description, dear listeners, for your benefit. So I'll see you in another episode with another amazing guest. But until then, stay active, take action. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.